The Wheelchair Girls. By Kenny's Corner 2014. Notes not in the original story. Hello everyone, remember my first story Abby and Chris cool school friends? Well, after lots of waiting, finally, my next story is here. I hope you will enjoy it. About this book. In this story, two girls by the names Emma and Stephanie both moved to the small town of Rockstar. Emma and Stephanie were both born without legs. Emma and Stephanie are not related, but they become great friends. Since both of the girls are in wheelchairs, they will have many challenges to overcome. Can the girls fit in with the other kids at their new school? Can they also make even more friends? Find out in another adventure-filled story from the crazy mind of Kenneth Smith. The Wheelchair Girls. It was a normal, sunny afternoon for the Tracker family. Jason and Janie were in their big house just relaxing when it became time. Their daughter would be born soon. They rushed to the hospital in a panic. Dr. Jackson, who had been in practice for 22 years, was ready to help. He had dealt with babies having disabilities in the past, but no one expected the baby to be missing her legs. It was a shocking moment and the family was so confused. Dr. Jackson said, "This is something I wasn't expecting to see in your daughter and I'm so sorry that this had to happen to her." Jason asked, "What does this mean for her future?" Dr. Jackson replied with, "This means she will never walk and will have to be in a wheelchair." After a long decision, they decided to name her Emma after Janie's grandma. About 4 months later, at the same hospital, Dr. Alex would be helping with another birth of a wheelchair baby. David and Crystal Johnson went to the hospital, their baby daughter would be coming soon. Dr. Alex had been in practice for only 9 years, so he did not know what to expect from their baby. "Oh boy," said Dr. Alex. "What is it?" David asked. "Well, unfortunately it looks like your daughter is missing her legs." "Why?" Crystal asked. "Well, I'm guessing something went wrong with her genetics, which are the traits she inherited from you both," said Dr. Alex. Then he added, "This means she will never walk and will have to be in a wheelchair." After a while, David and Crystal decided to name her Stephanie. After they left the hospital, all the doctors went on a short 10-minute break. "You know, there have been a lot of babies born here recently with disabilities," said Dr. Jackson. "Yeah, it is really weird," said Dr. Alex. "Well, for me, the last baby I helped with that had a disability was about 4 years ago," said another doctor. "You're lucky," said Dr. Jackson. "Yeah, it was a boy who was blind in his right eye, didn't have much vision in his left eye, and his face was really messed up." "That sounds nuts," said a nurse in the hallway. "Yes." Dr. Jackson and Dr. Alex agreed. "All right, I think we should get back to work now," said Dr. Jackson. The two girls grew up. They both lived in Rockstar with their parents. Emma's parents were very accepting of Emma's disabilities. They still let her do as much as a normal kid. Stephanie's parents were also nice, however they took things at a slower pace and did not let her do as much as a normal kid because they were more afraid of what could happen. Emma's mom was very smart, so she decided to make it easier, she would homeschool her. Stephanie's parents also homeschooled their daughter as well because they were worried that the other kids would pick on Stephanie over her not having any legs. When Stephanie was almost 9 years old, David and Crystal decided to send her to a real school. The school she would go to was in a nearby town known as Popstar. On the other hand, when Emma was 10 years old, Janie had found a high-paying job, so she could no longer homeschool Emma. So Emma would go to the Rockstar Elementary School. Stephanie's school was old, dark, and dirty. At the school, no one would talk to her unless they were saying something rude. Stephanie told her parents about the bullying, and they took her out of the school and started homeschooling again. Once she was almost 10, Stephanie's parents decided to give a real school one more chance. So they enrolled her at the Rockstar Elementary School. They figured since Rockstar seemed like a nicer town than Popstar, maybe the kids would act nicer towards Stephanie. Meanwhile, Emma was going in for her first day. She rolled up the wheelchair ramp and entered the school with her parents. They headed to the front office. Ms. Smith and Principal Dave were in a conversation. "So you know that one kid Chris, right?" said Ms. Smith. "Of course, what about him?" asked Principal Dave. "Well, do you think he is being left out of everything?" asked Ms. Smith. Then she added, "It doesn't seem like anyone wants to talk to him except for that girl, Abby." "I think he is just fine," said Principal Dave. "Are you sure?" asked Ms. Smith. "I think if something was wrong he would come and talk to us," said Principal Dave. Then he added, "He is a very smart young man and I think he would." The door to the front office opened. "Here comes our new student," said Ms. Smith in a cheerful voice. Emma's mom held the door and Emma rolled in. Jason walked up to the front desk, Emma followed behind him. "Hello," said Jason. "This pretty girl behind me is my daughter who is now going to this school." "Thanks Dad," said Emma in a slightly confused voice. "Wow, I didn't know we were having a new student today," said Principal Dave. Then he added, "I need to keep up better with the school news." Then he also added, "After all I am the principal." Ms. Smith walked up to the front desk. "Well, welcome to the Rockstar Elementary School. I'm Ms. Smith and this is Principal Dave," said Ms. Smith. "So, your name is Emma, right?" asked Ms. Smith. "Yup, that's right," said Emma. "Here, let me help you sign her in so she can start her day," said Ms. Smith. After they were done, Ms. Smith started typing on her computer to find out what class Emma would be going to. So, she needs to go to Mrs. Brown's class, number 301, said Ms. Smith. "All right, sweetie-go," said Jason. "We will see you later." "Have a good day and don't let anyone bother you," said Janie. "Okay, I will." Emma's parents left. The door shut with a slam. "Okay then," said Ms. Smith. "Do you think you need any help finding your class?" asked Ms. Smith. "I think I should be able to find it on my own," said Emma. "Okay, well, in that case enjoy your day and remember if you have any problems you are always welcome to come and talk to me or Principal Dave," said Ms. Smith. "Alrighty," exclaimed Emma. Emma rolled to the door, reached out, opened it and rolled out into the hallway. She rolled down the hallway. There were a few kids in the hallway who just stared at her. Emma said to herself, "Don't even look at them. They are useless and will just make fun of you." "Oh, here it is," said Emma. When she entered the classroom, she could hear and see a video playing on the smart board. Mrs. Brown paused the video, the class instantly started talking about random things. Mrs. Brown gave them a stern stare and they went quiet really quickly. "All right class," she said. "Now, I don't want a repeat of last time when Chris joined the class and you all started saying mean things. This is our new student, Emma," she said. Boom. Just like that, most of the class started laughing and pointing. "What did I just say?" said Mrs. Brown. "Sorry," said a random student. "Come on in," said Mrs. Brown. "Now, Emma here is missing her legs, which means she needs to be in a wheelchair," said Mrs. Brown. "Hold on," she added. She did not choose to have her legs missing. It just happened, so don't bully her or you know where you will go. Principal Dave's office blah 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 nin nin nin. Said Ryan. Well Ryan, I'd say you just dug your own grave, said MRS. Brown. What do you mean? Ryan asked. Well, what I'm saying is you said it, not me, so go to Principal Dave's office, now, said MRS. Brown. I hate this class, said Ryan in a super mean voice. Sorry about that, Emma, said MRS. Brown. Then she added, that is Ryan, the biggest, meanest school bully ever. No, I'm MRS. Brown interrupted Ryan, yes, you are the biggest school bully ever and you need to be dealt with, so head to Principal Dave's office. Can we get this show on the road already? Said Emma. Then she added, I know people are interrupting this excellent experience, but for crying out loud I would like to introduce myself. Yes, I'm so sorry about that, said MRS. Brown. It's okay, said Emma. Then she added, I'm just mad at the dumb kids. Oh! Shouted the other kids. Then one said, bro, does anyone want to help me beat this girl up? You are not laying a finger on her, yelled MRS. Brown. Instead of sending you to Principal Dave's office, I am going to call an escort to take you to the front office, so you can call your mom or dad and tell them what you just said to her, shouted MRS. Brown. The kid's face looked like he just got out of a war. His face was full of terror. A few minutes later the escort took the kid and MRS. Brown continued. All right, I am so sorry about that, said MRS. Brown. Then she added, all right Emma, go ahead and introduce yourself. Then she also said, I am going to get a substitute teacher to watch you all for a few minutes. Don't let me come back to a hot mess or you know what will happen. Emma introduced herself. Thankfully by the time she was done MRS. Brown returned. All right class, I'm back. Then she added, I just had to deal with the last kid I had to yell at for saying those terrible things to Emma. The room went silent for a good 10 seconds and then MRS. Brown said, Emma, there is a desk free over there by that boy, you can head over there. Okay, said Emma. Okay, now we can get back to MRS. Brown was interrupted again. The bell for recess rang. All the kids ran outside. The only ones left in the classroom were MRS. Brown, Chris, and Emma. Guys, stop running and wait for the three of us, said MRS. Brown. Emma turned around and looked at Chris and thought, another kid with a disability. Maybe we can be friends. All right, you two come this way towards my voice so we can head outside for recess, said MRS. Brown. Then she added, also Emma, if you don't mind, can you stay back for a few minutes so I can talk to you? Okay, exclaimed Emma. Okay, Emma, now I just wanted to pull you aside and ask you if you are okay, said MRS. Brown. Then she added, after all, Ryan said he was going to beat you up and we do not accept that kind of behavior at this school. I'm okay, said Emma. Then she added, I'm used to hearing these sorts of things, however I was a little scared that the kid would actually try something. Trust me, I think that kid deserves what he said he was going to do to you to be done to him, but let's keep that between us, said MRS. Brown. Then she added, that student has never really acted up before though, so that is very strange. So there is a wheelchair kid now? Said Chris in his head. I wonder if she will talk to me. Okay, I think that's it, said MRS. Brown. Okay, said Emma. Then she rolled off. Wow, look at this big playground, said Emma. It might be hard for me to use it, but I'm sure I can find something to do. "Hi there," said Chris in a shy voice. "Oh, hi, your name is Chris, correct?" "Yeah, that's right," said Chris. "My name is Emma and I have to be in a wheelchair," said Emma. "That's sad," said Chris. Then he added, "Trust me, the one thing I've learned so far and always do is to never give up and don't let any of your disabilities get in your way for even a second." "Wow, that's some good advice," said Emma. "Oh, here comes my best friend, Abby," said Chris. Then he added, "Trust me, she is awesome and I think she will like you, too." Then Chris said, "She goes to a different class. I think her teacher's name is MS. Holly." "Hi Chris," said Abby as she ran towards him. "Whoa, who's that?" "Abby, I want you to meet Emma. She is a new student in my class and today is her first day," said Chris. Then he added, "As you can see, she has to be in a wheelchair." "Hello Emma, my name is Abby and I am best friends with Chris," said Abby. Then she asked, "Do you want to hang out with me and Chris?" "Sure, why not?" replied Emma. They talked for a while and Abby took them around the field. Ding! The bell for lunch rang. "All right, that was fun," said Abby. "Yeah, it was," said Emma. "And the good news is that the teachers don't really mind who sits together as long as they get along, which means even though I am in a different class I can sit with you two at lunch, if that's okay with you," Emma said. Abby. "Of course it's okay with me," said Emma. Then she added, "After all, it's my first day so, I'm kind of down for anything as long as it doesn't have anything to do with getting picked on." They walked to the door, and then Chris asked, "Have you already been picked on?" "Wow, how did you know?" asked Emma. "Trust me, I can sense when someone is in trouble." "I don't really know how I know though," replied Chris. "Interesting," said Emma. Then she added, "Well, there were some kids in the classroom who were laughing and pointing, and worse, there was this kid who asked if anyone wanted to help beat me up," said Emma. "Oh yeah!" exclaimed Chris. "I remember that now," he said. Then Chris added, "The kid literally asked that." Then he said, "Mrs. Brown got an escort to pick him up and you know, it's bad when she had to get a substitute teacher to watch the class for a little while. Alright guys, follow me this way towards my voice, so I can guide Chris and show you Emma where the cafeteria is," said Abby. The rest of their day was pretty uneventful. Everyone else just seemed to ignore Emma altogether. Finally the sound played, ding. The big bell rang for dismissal. Emma was a car rider, so she headed back to the cafeteria to get picked up by her parents. Jason and Janie were standing outside, a little scared to hear about Emma's day, but at the same time, excited. A speaker in the cafeteria started blaring and a male voice started speaking. "Good afternoon, Rockstar students and staff here at the Rockstar Elementary School. This is Principal Dave. It is 3:13 p.m. and it is time for dismissal. At this time car riders head to the cafeteria. If you are in any after-school programs, please head to the media center. Bus riders will be dismissed shortly." After a few seconds Principal Dave said, "Bus riders may now head to their buses. Have a great afternoon, Rockstars." Emma rolled out of the cafeteria once her name was called. As soon as her parents saw her they reached out to give her a big hug. "We missed you so much," said Janie. "How was your day?" asked Jason. "It was great," Emma said. "Come on, let's go to the car so you can tell us all about it," said Janie. Finally, a few weeks later, Stephanie would be going to her first day at the Rockstar Elementary School. David helped her into their big car and then they were off. Crystal stayed home. Once they arrived they walked to the side of the school and Stephanie rolled up the ramp. They went to the front office to find out where she needed to go. Ms. Smith wasn't there so they had to wait a few minutes. When she showed up, she gazed out into the front office and saw them. "On my way," said Ms. Smith. "Welcome to the Rockstar Elementary School. I'm Ms. Smith. Hello, my name is David and this is my daughter, Stephanie," David said. "She is now going to this school, so I expect nothing but kindness towards her because this is her second real school. Her other school was so bad she went a whole 3 days and then I had to take her out of that school, and at this point, this is my last hope." "Oh, dear," said Ms. Smith. "It sounds like she has been through a lot." Then she paused for a minute and then said, "But believe me, sir, your daughter will be just fine here because at the Rockstar Elementary School we do not and will not ever accept bullying." "Well, I hope that's the case," said David. "Here, let me help you sign her in, so we can get her to her class," said Ms. Smith in a kind of childish tone. After a while Ms. Smith asked, what was the other school she attended? "I don't want to shame anyone but I'm just curious." "Well, she went to the Popstar Elementary School." "Oh, I see," said Ms. Smith. Then she added, "I've heard a lot of bad things about that school and your story makes that true." Then when they were finished signing Stephanie in, Ms. Smith started typing on her computer, like she always did, so she could find her class. "All right, so Stephanie needs to head to Ms. Holly's class, room number 304. Do you need help getting there?" I guess so," said Stephanie. "Okay, that's just fine. I will show you the way," replied Ms. Smith. Then David said, "All right, Stephanie, be good and remember if things get bad like your other school, then come back here and tell them to call me." "All right, love you, Dad." Stephanie said, "I love you, too, Stephanie." And with that David closed the door. Squeak. Ms. Smith said, "Oh boy, it sounds like that door could use some WD-40, but I'll get them to deal with that later. Anyway, follow me this way, Stephanie, and I will get you to Ms. Holly's class." "Okay then," said Stephanie. They went down the hallway. Ms. Smith asked Stephanie some questions to pass the time. "So, what do you think about school?" "Well, I really don't mind it, but I have been homeschooled for a long time, and then I went to the other school for only a couple days, so I don't really know," said Stephanie. "What do you like to do for fun?" asked Ms. Smith. "Well, I like what we are doing right now. I like to talk to people and learn more about them. I also like to read books." Then she added, "After all, a good book can really make you feel happy." By the time Stephanie had answered the second question, they were at the classroom's door. Ms. Smith opened the door to Ms. Holly's room. "Okay, is there anything else you need or I can help with?" asked Ms. Smith. "I don't think so," said Stephanie. "Well, in that case, have a great day, and if you do need anything, come to the office." "All right, I will," said Stephanie. She rolled into the classroom. Ms. Holly was standing by the smartboard holding a piece of paper. "So, you all will have this short math assignment to do, and while you work, I'm going to talk to someone who just showed up." It seemed like things were a lot more calm in Ms. Holly's class. "Well, hello there, my name is Ms. Holly. You must be Stephanie, right?" "Yes, that's me," said Stephanie. "All right, so just to let you know, you are my first student with a disability, so I don't know too much, but I will do my best to help you with whatever you need." "Okay, that's good," said Stephanie. "You can roll over to that desk over there, and don't worry about what we are doing right now." "Okay," said Stephanie. At recess that day, Emma and Stephanie met for the first time. "Okay, Let's see if I can talk to anyone out here, said Stephanie. Oh, who's that? She said in her head. Is that another wheelchair kid like me? She thought. Hey, who are you? Asked Emma. Hi, my name is Stephanie and I am now going to this school because I really got bullied at my last school, said Stephanie. Oh, that's interesting. What are the odds of two wheelchair kids starting school at almost the same time? This could be a great friendship, said Emma. I agree. I think we could get along just fine, said Stephanie. So, what do you do out here? Asked Stephanie. Well, I just chill out, sit in the sun and get fresh air, and sometimes I hang out with my other friends. Oh, okay, said Stephanie. Follow me this way. I will introduce you to them, said Emma. Emma started rolling her chair and Stephanie followed behind her. Here we are on the blacktop. My friends are over there, said Emma. Hey Chris, hey Abby, called Emma. What's going on? Asked Chris. Actually, something pretty big, said Emma. I want to introduce you both to my new friend, Stephanie, who has to be in a wheelchair just like me, said Emma. Hello, said Stephanie. Oh, hey there, said Abby. So, you're a new kid here at Rockstar? Asked Abby. Yes, this is my first day here, but I have been to another school, where I was non-stop bullied, so I came here in hopes that the same thing would not happen again, and so far, so good, said Stephanie. Whose class are you in? Asked Chris. I'm in MS. Holly's class. Hey, I'm in that class. How did I not notice you? Asked Abby. I don't know, said Stephanie. They all talked and asked each other random questions. Stephanie got along with Abby and Chris but knew she was meant to be friends with Emma. It was like she could somehow tell that from the start. After what only felt like 10 minutes, ding. The school bell rang for dismissal. Emma and Stephanie both went to the cafeteria, so they could be picked up and go home. When Stephanie got picked up by her dad, she told him all about the pretty uneventful day. And since Emma's and Stephanie's days went well, they both got to stay in the Rockstar school. They slowly grew up learning how much they were capable of. Each was the only child in their family, but they had different living styles. Emma and her parents lived in a larger-sized house, whereas Stephanie and her parents lived in a big apartment. Both of their parents were kind and always there for each other. It may not seem clear, but the lesson here is don't doubt the abilities of anyone. The two friends went on to the Rockstar Middle School and then the Rockstar High School. Emma later got a job at one of the small markets in town. Emma and Stephanie also stayed in touch with Abby, Chris, and their families, which proves that sometimes relationships can last a long time, while other relationships may end quickly. The end.